So, have you ever seen the movie City of Angels? Because I just watched it and holy hell, was that a ride of a movie? I can say that much. I'm your host, Juice here, and let's dig into it. The reason I started watching this movie, I was hanging out with some friends, and I believe the song Iris by Goo Goo Dolls came on the radio or the intercom, the speaker or whatever. And, I started singing it. That's a good song. It's one of those songs that, surprisingly, I didn't listen to until like a year or two ago. And I was like, this song is hitting me everywhere I need to be. And I think one of the first times I ever heard that song was that Family Guy episode where Peter's Chris said something to Peter and he's sitting in the car crying to that song Goo Goo Dolls, the Irish song. And then it starts playing the song Happy by Pharrell Williams. And he's just oh, and it just kind of reminded me of I've been in that situation. We all have where the vibe just changes up real quick and you're I guess this is it now. But so then my friend was like, did you know that was made for the movie City of Angels? And I was like, what? And so was the song In the Arms of an Angel by Sarah McLachlan. I was like, what? So fast forward a month later, we're like, we should watch this movie. Okay, so we watch it. And they've seen it many times. I haven't. And they were like, I watched it all the time because my mother had a crush on Nicolas Cage. And then I saw the movie. I was like, I can see it. Nicolas Cage, back in the day, he wasn't that bad looking. Not that he ever left. That was a good movie too. But so watch the movie. Let me give you the premise of the movie. And like I said, as usual, spoilers, right? But the premise of the movie is Nicolas Cage plays an angel called Seth. Interesting name for an angel, but whatever. He plays an angel called Seth, and he's just vibing with this other angel, Captain Holt, R.I.P., right? And their jobs are just to, angels. They're guiding people to the afterlife, And you see moments where he does this a couple times in the movie. Anyways, there are parts of the movie where you can kind of tell that, what he often wonders what it's like to maybe be human and have people see him. And apparently angels have ability to let people see them, but only if they want to, right? So, but it's kind of I wouldn't say it's on a forbidden rule to let it happen, but they just usually don't. He's gonna go. He's at a hospital. He's about to take a man's life, or not take a man's life, but it's part of God's plan. This guy's time's up. He's gonna take him, right? So that happens, but he notices that there's a doctor trying to the man's dying. He's already dead, but the doctor's trying to bring him back. For a moment though, he feels like the doctor, who's played by Meg Ryan, kind of looks into his soul a little bit, but he's like, this is impossible. I didn't let her see me. And he starts becoming obsessed with her. And as my friend said that there are points in this movie where Nicolas Cage is straight up stalking this woman. But he's an angel, so I guess it's not super weird. But my friend was like, yeah, if they change the music up a little bit, this could be easily a stalker movie. But so he starts infiltrating this lady's life little by little, and and in a weird way, he's kind of quirky, he's kind of different because he's an angel. He doesn't know much about human customs and what they feel like. And there's just so many parts of that movie where you're just the things he says is so captivating and alarming, and I'm like, dang, this guy got moves. He got Jagger, geez Louise. The things he says in that movie, it's man, I need to step my game up. I thought maybe I was a little bit of a Casanova, but no, Nick Cage was out there. There's a scene where she's eating a pear and he's never eaten a pear in his life. She doesn't know that, but he's like, what's that pear taste like? And she's like, what do you mean? It tastes like a pear. And he hits her with, no, what does that pear taste like to you? And I'm like, oh, what? Are you kidding? Oh, there's a scene here where he says something to her and he's like, well, how do you know that's true? And he's like, well, can't you just feel it? What doesn't make any sense? And he closes his eyes. He tells her, close your eyes. And he starts touching her hand and grazing it. And he's like, what's happening right now? He's like, you're touching me and I can feel you. And he was like, well, how do you know? Your eyes are closed. She's like, well, you can just feel it. Boom. Got her right there. I mean, there's just so many clips where this man is man, he's making me wet. Geez Louise. I was just are you kidding me? Nick Cage, sir. Let me get my wine while I'm watching this movie. So he becomes obsessed with this woman. Anyways, she has a patient who's this guy who's dying. But then you find out that he knows that Nick Cage is there. He knows that Seth is there. So why does he know that Seth is there? Turns out, big plot here of the movie, turns out he was once an angel. So we're like, what? This man is an angel? He has a wife and kids. How is he an angel? Turns out he's God gave man free will. He also gave you angels free will. So angels have a choice to fall, to become human if they choose so. And Nick Cage is like, what? So you mean I could be with this woman potentially, But that just means I have to give up being an angel. I have to give up my immortality for this woman, And he's like contemplating it a little bit there. And then there's a whole like subplot where like she's like dating this other guy, and he's kind of like, I wouldn't say he's a jerk, but she's just, you can tell that she's not into him as much. You know what I mean? Like she sees Seth, and she's like, I want to be with Seth. Or like, I'm in love with Seth, But this guy, he's kind of like, I think he's kind of noticing there's another dude around. So he kind of is like, you should marry me. And she's all like, maybe. I don't know. Like, but Seth. And so they get in anyways. So they have eventually, like, Seth is talking to his other friend, Messenger. I think that's the name, his name, or like his last name. They have to make up names pretty much for their kind of personas as a human. But, it's funny. His name is like Seth Plate or something like that. But they have a conversation, and they usually the angels don't tell people that they're humans, because they just, it's hard for their little brains to comprehend. And there is a moment where like he's trying to explain like, I'm not human, or she's prying it out of him basically, and she's trying to prove that he's not human because like she tries to cut his hand and it doesn't work, and she kicks him out of his house, which is, I'll be straight on with you, this movie, I enjoyed it. This is it. I'm not gonna put that out there. I did thoroughly enjoy this movie. But Meg Ryan's character, there are points in the movie where I'm like, can you just tell him how you feel? You know what I mean? Because like there's a point in the movie where like she yells at him because he wasn't truthful about him being an angel or something like that. I think that's just kind of what I remember. And then she kicks him out of the house, but then like later, like, this is when the In the Arms of the Angel song comes on. And like knowing the context of these songs now that they were made for the movie really makes them hit differently. Because like In the Arms of the Angel, Fly Away, blah, blah, blah. Like if you actually listen to that song now, you no longer will think, and okay, if you watch that movie and then listen to the song, or even the part of the movie where it plays that song, you no longer think of cute little dogs dying. You think of this woman like, just swooning over Nick Cage, just trying to just touch her, why he's invisible and she can't see him. It's a whole like Patrick Swayze ghost situation. So, and that's a weird thing too. She like yells at him, kicks him out, and then there's like later on like, let me just see you, because he can choose whether he wants to see her or whatever, right? And she's like, just stay with me until I fall asleep. I know you're there. And then she has like the first best sleep of her life because she's a doctor who never sleeps. But I'm like, why'd you do that to him? Okay, and then this is the part. So like, not to say she's the worst character ever. I've seen worse characters. Just like, it was the 90s. I could understand. We're in an age now where like people have gone to therapy and they communicate, right? I give them a pass. It was 1998, right? But like, anyways, I probably would have felt differently if I saw the movie like years ago. But then again, at the time, years ago, I wouldn't be able to form a thought. I was, whatever. So anyways, so moving on, she basically gives him an ultimatum. Like she's like, I want to see you, Seth. I want to see you, Seth. And he's like, I don't want to see you because like, you told me to leave. You told me to leave you alone, right? That's what you said. And then she's like, I want to see you. And then she basically goes like, I'm gonna marry the other dude because he's human. He's me. And instead of saying like, look, I like you, Seth, because she knows at this point he can become a human. She found out through like his friend. She knows that. But instead of being like, I know you can become a human, why don't you just be with me? She just goes like, I'm gonna go marry this other dude. And then he's like crushed. Now I get it. Like I said, I'm a sucker for romance, so I get the romantic, romantic, aspect of it. But like also, just tell him how you feel. Like, oh my God, you love this man or angel. Like, you have a chance to be with an angel and learn all the crazy things that he knows. And you're just gonna be like, yeah, I'm gonna pretend to marry this other guy just so you can become a human for me. But then also, I kind of get why she did that, because like then that proves that how much he loves her if he actually did it. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. He gets depressed or whatever, I don't know, and then eventually's like, I'm gonna take the jump. And there's a very cinematic scene where he's like, I guess it's like a metaphor. He's falling off a cliff, or he's falling off a building. Also, the movie's filmed in L.A., Los Angeles, the city of angels. So yeah, I think that's interesting part of the metaphor. Anyways, so he jumps off the building and then he lands, and honestly, this is one of the best parts of the movie. He wakes up where he landed. He's bleeding, he's injured, and he's all like, oh, I feel pain for the first time in my life. And then you have Ron Swanson there asking him like, yo, what's up, man? Why you here? Like, what kind of drugs you take? And so basically he's like, I'm human. Now I have to kind of figure out where this woman is. And this like, it's like a 20-30 minute scene where he's just trying to figure out where Meg Ryan is. And I think they do this scene so well. And I'm glad they actually took the time to play this out, because if you fell off a cliff, you're an angel, and you became human for the first time, you wouldn't know what to do. You wouldn't know how to talk to people. people. Like, you wouldn't know how to get on a bus. You have no money. You have no job, previous life before you, social security number. You don't know what hunger is like. Of course, like, you're experiencing pain for the first time. Of course, it's gonna be confusing. So up to this point, he's like, I don't know where the hospital is. Also, at the time, we didn't have smartphones, so there ain't no GPS. So it's even harder to find people. So like, but they do this scene so well when he's just trying to find her. Eventually, he gets information from one of her coworkers, but then it's like, okay, I got the information, but like, how do I get there, So he's like trying to hitchhike, but like, then he gets mugged, but he doesn't have much, and then I think good old Captain Holt helps him out a little bit. He gets a ride from a truck driver, and this is the point where like, boom, you hear that intro, and then I give up forever to touch you, and so, but it's like an acoustic version, so that's neither here nor there. But I just want to break down these lyrics because when I first heard this song, it touched me in a way that I can't describe. And then now it touches me in a different way. And now when I hear this song, it makes me even more emotional because it's funny. This was a time period where, this is just more about music now at this point. This was a time period where like they actually made soundtracks for movies. Like they made songs for movies. They still kind of do that now, but it's a bit different, But they made them specifically for movies. So like you hear these songs, you're like, oh my God, this song is so beautiful. Anybody can interpret it what this means. But no. If you actually go listen to the song of certain soundtracks, no, this is exactly for this movie. It's like example, if you listen to the Tarzan soundtrack, let's say you never watched Tarzan, you listen to those songs. You hear those songs and just be like, oh, son of man, it's about a boy becoming a man. And then you watch the movie. No. You see okay, technically, yes, it's about a boy becoming a man. But no, you actually see the parallels. You see the thing he's talking about, right? Same with like pretty much most of the songs off the Tarzan soundtrack. Phil Collins watched that, and it's like he was composing it as he was like watching it. So like same with like a lot of these old soundtracks for these movies. They actually watch their scenes, watch their movies like, okay, I need you to make a song for this scene specifically. So you read these lyrics. Okay, watch this movie, go back and listen to this song by Iris, and you will see how much of a parallel it is to the movie. And it is crazy because I'm listening it and I'm just feeling all these emotions like, oh, I'm just so alone in this world and I just want people to see me for who I am, but I don't know if they understand me. But no, this song is just about Nicolas Cage falling in love with a woman. He's an angel and the world doesn't understand. So let's break it down. So opening lyric, and I give it forever to touch you. That meaning he wants to give up eternal life to touch this woman, to be with this woman, because there are certain things he can't do because he's an angel, right? And he's like, because I know how you feel me somehow. Basically, you can't see me, but I know I'm there. You can feel my presence. And then this lyric, you're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't want to go home right now. This man is a literal angel, but he is so in love with this woman that the Google Dolls, who was that name? John? I can't remember the name of the guy who sings Google Dolls. He's sitting there saying that like, I love this woman so much. I want to be with her so much that she is literally better than heaven. She's the closest to heaven I'll ever be. And I don't want to go home. I don't want to leave her. I want to be with her. Can you see the parallels that this freaking movie song has with that? It is ridiculous. And then like the next verse is like kind of, that you can hear the interpretation. But when he's like, and I don't want the world to see me because I don't think they will understand. When everything's made to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. Breaking it down. Basically, I don't want the world to see me because they won't understand me because I'm an angel. Like there's a part of the movie where they talk about like, angels don't usually tell people about our lives because they can't comprehend it. And then like, and in this world that's so crazy and messed up, and you may not understand why things are happening because God has a plan, right? Everything seems broken, but like, I just want you to know who I am. I just, everything's crazy, but I want you to know who I am. I am an angel who's been sent, and I want you to see me for who I am. And then there's a part where he's like, everything feels like a movie. I think it's a metaphor for like how the angels, they see everything, and then I bleed just to know you're alive. And he's like, well, I can't bleed. I don't know if I'm alive. How do I tell I'm alive? And by becoming a human, I can feel alive, and just like, I remember the day after I watched this movie, as soon as I left my friend's house, I put that song on. It is 2 a.m. and I put that song on, and I am like screaming, bawling my eyes out. Like, that song is so beautiful. With the context, oh my gosh, it hits so differently. Anyways, I can go on about that. I can go on about that song. Jesus, Mother Mary, and Joseph, God Almighty. Anyways, so Blues Fash becomes human. He goes to Meg Ryan Turns out she, like you said, she lied. She lied about marrying this dude. She just wanted to prove that he loved her and he becomes a human for her. It kind of all works out. There's a very long and uncomfortable sex scene. But it's also passionate, you know? And I would think that's exactly what it would feel like if you were an angel, having a virgin angel for the first time, being with this woman who you fell in love with and you gave up literally eternity for. So I guess they express that well. But I'm just like, okay, they're dragging out this guy's happiness a little too long. This isn't gonna end well. It doesn't end well. You know, it's not like the movie, like, I don't know, like there's other movies where like people fall in love and there's tragedy and it does end well, like 50 First Dates, I guess. You know, that kind of does have a happy ending, you know. But yeah, anyways, so they're dragging out this guy's, you know, happiness too long. So then, anyways, Meg Ryan's out shopping. She's doing some crazy stuff. Okay, she's being a little extra, if I'm being honest with you. And so, big spoiler, she gets hit by a truck. And I'm kind of bitter when this happened, because when I saw that truck come out of nowhere, I was like, yep, there it is. You know, but I'll be honest with you, it's kind of her fault. She's out there like bike riding in the mountains, like with no handlebars, right? And I'm like, she's gonna fall off a cliff. That's what's gonna happen. And then that truck comes out of nowhere. That truck wasn't even going that fast. I know they did the scene in slow motion. It wasn't going that fast. And then when they find her, it's like she don't even look that injury. You know what I mean? 'Tis a flesh wound is all I'm saying. But like, I get why they had to kill her. They had to give my buddy Seth character development. I'm sorry. God just had to do that to you, you know? And so he's like devastated, right? Obviously, he literally gave up eternity to be this woman. She dies. But it's kind of like bittersweet, where it's like, she's like, you know, because there's a scene where Seth, like when people die, he asks them what's their favorite part. And she goes like, I'll tell them my favorite part was, you know, you, right? It's kind of a sweet moment, you know. She dies. His buddy Captain Holt visits him later, and he's like, why'd you do this to me? Am I being punished? And he's like, no. He's like, you know, God just works in mysterious ways, pretty much, you know. You don't know why this happened to you, but you'll find out someday, right? Kind of just like you'll figure it out, buddy. So yeah, he's kind of sad, and he has but the thing about it, he tells Captain Holt that he had no regrets, that I would have, even if it was just to touch her, just to kiss her, I would have gladly given up eternity for her, you know, and I would have done it again, all over again. And then the movie ends where he's just body surfing in the ocean, just feeling the sun and the water on his face. And like, yeah, the love of his life died, but now he has a whole lifetime. He's human. He gets to experience life and just and like I said, it was kind of sad that his Meg Ryan died, but I think it's kind of a metaphor for life that like, yeah, tragic things happen, and in the moment you're gonna be like, dang, I really wish that didn't happen. That sucks that it happened. But like, also you have to think about like I said, whether it's like falling in love, maybe getting a job that you love and maybe getting fired from, or just any event in your life. You're like, do you regret doing that decisions? Well, maybe you shouldn't have regrets, because like at one point in life, maybe you wanted that thing, or like or even like when it comes, especially when it comes to love, it's like, 'tis a better of love than lost than I never loved at all. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the mindset I have about life, is that like, I would rather enjoy, like, let's say you have an event in your life that's going to last 5 years, and then it tragically ends, and there's going to be a year of your life where it just sucks because you're grieving over that 5 years. Think about it. 5 good years, the trade-off is 1 bad year. Yeah, I'm taking that. I'd rather have 5 good years than 5 bad years and 1 good year. You know what I mean? Like, and that's kind of the message I see about this movie. And honestly, I don't know if there's ever a second movie. I don't even know if this came from a book, but like, it would be kind of interesting to see like how Seth adjusts to like life. But in a way, I kind of like that it's open-ended. Like I said, don't know if there's a sequel to this movie. I highly doubt there's a sequel to this movie. But yeah, it's just like, I know that like Seth, okay, in the end, he's going to be okay. He's going to maybe he'll find love again today. Maybe he'll get a job. He'll be happy. And I think that's the message of the movie, is that like, bad things happen to you. They're going to happen to you. But it is how you choose to move on and keep experiencing life, because life is long, buddy. Like I said, life can either be long or short, and that's completely up to you. But you make the most out of whatever time you're given. And if your life is long, then you have time to just embrace it and just enjoy yourself and move on and take your time from those sad things. But if life is short, then you best do what you can to make the most of it. Anyways, that's all I have to say about City of Angels. Great movie. I give this movie a 8 angel wings out of maybe 9.88 turtle doves. That's what I give this movie. Anyways, juice out.
color.